This video is brought to you by Straight Goods News, Canada's alternative online news source. Visit straightgoods.ca.
We are also here to tell the government to end the secrecy and the mixed messages and tell Canadians the truth about what it's planning for this country. We believe Canadians don't like the direction this government is taking, so we would like to propose a better way forward for Canadians. Make no mistake, slashing public services by $10 billion is an austerity measure, and it will devastate key services that Canadians rely on and put tens of thousands of people out of work and shrink the economy. And this government is hiding the truth because it knows that the austerity agenda won't stand up to public scrutiny. So we're here to say that Canada needs a better way forward, a third choice that protects our economy, keeps people working, and invests in a strong public services that Canadians need. That better way forward starts with transparency and public input. This government must put an end to the secrecy surrounding how much it wants to cut, when, where, and how. It also means making evidence-based decisions. This government must put any further cuts on hold pending a public review of the social and economic impact of the previous cuts. It means putting Canadians' health and safety and the environment first. The government must ensure that Canadians can continue to rely on inspectors, regulators, and scientific research. It means making better choices about where to spend money. Consultants, temporary help agencies, fighter jets, and corporate tax cuts grow our deficit and do not create jobs or growth. Finally, a better way forward means investing in strong public services that will strengthen our economy and benefit present and future generations.
There are a lot of common themes here. One of them is automation. The government's been saying for the last 3 or 4 years they're moving to an automated system that will produce more efficiencies. Well, this automated system's been in place for a number of years now, and things are not getting any better. In fact, they're getting much worse. I want to tell you a couple of stories because we see them fairly often. We've had instances in which clients have been forced to sell their homes because they're without money and they have no idea if and when they will be receiving their EI benefits. 2 or 3 times without work and without money is a long time to go for most Canadians. People are in desperate financial circumstances. Many of our clients are depressed. Many of our clients have made declarations to our staff that they have contemplated suicide for fear of the future and for being in poverty and for losing self-respect and dignity, because not only are they without income, they're without work, and work is important to people. This government has choices. People who have paid into EI are people who not long ago were working, and in many instances had paid into the EI program for many, many years. EI is not a benefit, it is a right. It is a right to entitlement that unemployed workers should expect of this government, and they should expect a reasonable quality of service in a prompt and efficient manner. This government has failed Canadians, and it has failed unemployed workers, and there is no indication that things are about to improve.
This is the railroad room, right? It's known as the railroad room? Yes, the railway room. Well, railroad is an appropriate term because I think that most of our members feel that they're being railroaded. I can say that after hearing the stories, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for having, the courage to come forth and tell the stories, because these are real stories about real Canadians and the experiences that are being felt across the country. So thank you again for coming. We are here because we believe that most Canadians do not like the direction that the government is taking us in, where the private sector corporate interest is slowly going to supplant the public interest. That's what this is all about. Welcome to 1984, where the government says that the budget that's coming down is about jobs and growth, and yet they are cutting jobs and they are putting growth in peril by threatening the very fragile economic recovery that is essential to our society. First, you create the crisis. then you solve the crisis by throwing out public services and bringing in private, corporately delivered, for-profit services. Welcome to the new reality. This crisis is being created by this government, where it doesn't need to be. First you say, we have a deficit. We wouldn't have a deficit if you hadn't cut the revenues coming into the government. So now that we have a deficit, we have to get rid of good quality people in which we've invested. How much money have we invested in our employees, in our members? All to be throwing it out. Throw out the baby with the bathwater. Pay and compensation advisors who we've invested so much in. 2 years to take training. Let them go. Give it all to PeopleSoft and IBM. Is that what we want? So the Public Service Alliance of Canada is here to say that the third choice option that we are offering is the intelligent choice, because the government, this government, is offering an absurd choice to Canadians to choose between deficits and no services. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it is absurd. So the third choice is not coming from some self-interested unions. It's coming from people who say there's got to be a better way. And if it takes the union to say that and make that clear, well then so be it. That is what we're here for. That's why we're here. Alors merci encore tout le monde d'être venu, parce que vraiment, la bataille que nous avons à livrer, c'est une bataille qui tient à la plupart, à la majorité des Canadiens pour avoir une société vraiment qui est digne d'un pays comme le Canada.
The fact of the matter is, we're going to see services eliminated, and no one will know about it until you actually try to go and use those services. That's no way to run we're putting together what we know today, from past, and what we suspect is coming from the future. You can't cut $10 billion without cutting some programs and services. That's what the message is, and we want them to come clean and stop the secrecy with respect to what the government has been doing.